Hello, everyone. James Wilson here. And today I'm going to talk about the differences between gig work, such as food delivery, and in this particular food delivery, such as delivering for UberEats or DoorDash, versus pizza delivery, like working for Domino's or Papa John's or Pizza Hut. I'm going to talk about the pros and cons between the two. And I'm going to talk to you about what I prefer. I will tell you this: I've delivered pizzas for many, many years, starting in 2001, 2001, and I delivered full time for a while until probably around 2008, and then I worked for it off and on. And 2018 was December of 2018 was the last time I delivered pizzas. And then after that, I just quit for good. Just worked one job until March is when I started UberEats and DoorDash. So I'd say I worked for UberEats and DoorDash for about 3 months now. And so I think I have a little bit of a grasp of what's going on. But I'm going to talk to you about, in my opinion, which one is better to work for. Is it gig work or is it pizza delivery? And I'm also going to talk about the pros and cons. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started here with the pros and cons. And I created this spreadsheet here. Created this spreadsheet here about the pros and cons. So let's first talk about pizza delivery. This is something that I've done for a long, long time, so I know the deals. Now, some of this is actually kind of new, and I've never experienced it before working at a pizza place, but I'm just going to talk about it. So the pros is weekly paychecks. Now, sometimes you get paid every 2 weeks, but what I mean by the paychecks is you get an hourly rate. I found out it's about $8 to $9 an hour when you're in the store, and about $4 to $5 an hour when you're driving. You get paid in cash every day. UberEats and DoorDash, you don't get paid in cash unless you get a cash tip, which is kind of rare, you know. But you get paid in cash every single day. Now, if you like cash, it's a good thing. You can utilize the cash however you want. I just like the feel of cash. Some people don't like getting paid in cash, and that's fine. Another is less wear and tear. And the reason why I feel that pizza delivery has less wear and tear is because you're driving shorter distances. And not only that you're driving shorter distances, you're not driving as much. Because what happens is when you get to the pizza place, sometimes you'll have a delivery or two waiting for you, and sometimes you don't. And if you don't have a delivery waiting for you, then you're going to be in the store doing, dishes or making pizzas, answering phones, folding boxes. You're actually going to be doing actual work and not being in the car. So there is less wear and tear on that. And there's shorter runs on average. Usually with pizza delivery, it's less than 7 miles. You can get a huge order from UberEats driving more than 10 miles, sometimes even 15. Now, it's up to you if you want to accept it or not. If the price is right, why not, But with pizza delivery, you have shorter runs, which I prefer. Another pro for pizza delivery is you only have one pickup point. You just go back to the store. You don't have to worry about going to all these restaurants and knowing where to go and stuff like that. You just have to worry about going back to the store, whether it be Papa John's, Pizza Hut, or Domino's. You don't have to buy hot bags. They provide the hot bags for you. So you don't have to worry about that, okay? And there's no app glitches because there's no apps when you're delivering pizzas. You're just delivering for the store. So you don't have to worry about dealing with those DoorDash app glitches crashing on you and having to deal with that. And as I said, the base pay is more. You get $8 to $9 an hour. You get $1.57 per run for Papa John's. Pizza Hut and Domino's, from what I hear, pay you per mile. And it's actually pretty good compared to UberEats and DoorDash. It really just depends, though. It's close. Now, here's the cons, and I have a bunch of them. Number one is the uniform. You're required to wear a uniform with Domino's or any pizza place that you work for. Uniform is required. I thoroughly enjoy going in my shorts and t-shirt and not having to worry about what color am I wearing. Am I wearing a DoorDash uniform or UberEats? I don't have to worry about anything like that. I can pretty much dress however I want. If I don't want to wear, non-slip shoes, I don't have to wear non-slip shoes because I'm not working at the restaurant. I am just delivering. Cart topper. There's no cart topper with Uber Eats and DoorDash. With pizza place, depending on the pizza place, you may require to wear a cart topper. Most of the time you are. Sometimes they're a little bit liberal and they don't really say anything. But for the most part, you're going to have to wear a cart topper. So people will see you. It's definitely less safe. You can get more likely get robbed that way. People would call the store and complain about your driving if they don't like your driving because they know that you work for Papa John's, for example. Long wait. So let me explain to you this long wait. Now, there's a difference between waiting in the restaurant and waiting when you're delivering pizzas. When you're delivering pizzas, you have to do extra work. You have to fold boxes, make pizzas, answer phones, do the dishes, sweep, whatever they tell you to do, you have to do. Now, on a really good night, you may be, talking to a coworker or something like that and strike up a good conversation, but usually they want you working. As I said, grunt work. You're required to do dishes, usually after you got to do dishes after you leave, or sweep or mop, or if you have to close, you got to do a lot of stuff. You come home all dirty and everything, and it's just not really that good. No ride along. So if you want to take your wife or your kids or your friends, whatever, you can't do that when you're doing pizza delivery. It's against policy. And when you're doing Uber Eats or DoorDash, you're just basically by yourself. So they can ride along with you, no problem. But with pizza delivery, you can't do that. Schedule unflexibility. Now, I'm not going to say that they're unflexible with your schedule. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that they're less flexible with your schedule compared to Uber Eats and DoorDash, because you can pretty much Uber Eats, you can just get on it whenever you want. With DoorDash, you got to schedule ahead of time if you're not one of those preferred dashers, whatever. But, if you don't want to work, you just don't show up for your shift. You can delete it if you want to, that's fine. But, you're definitely your own boss. With this here, if you call out sick, I had a manager tell me one time that you can never call out sick. You can never call out sick. And you know what? I mean, she was really cool and everything. But there's other drivers that kept calling out sick. So, I took it as, you're new here. You need to prove yourself. Once you prove yourself, if you're legitimately sick, fine. That's how I took it. But whatever. She pretty much wanted me to work every day. You have to take the runs. So you have to take the runs that are assigned to you. So it's first come, first serve. So if you're the first driver that comes, your first driver on the list, you have to take the first delivery that's on the list. Okay? Unless it's like if it's not ready, maybe you could skip it. But for the most part, you have to take whatever's up first. And if it's a far delivery, you have to take it. That is a rule that they have. And so typically it's, you take a single or you take a double, but you have to take the first one that's on the list if you're the first driver on the list. That's what that means. You have to take mess ups for free. Now, this is interesting. So with DoorDash and Uber Eats, you don't have to worry about that. But with pizza delivery, if someone messes up, another driver or possibly yourself, depending, may have to take it for free, and you're paying for your own gas and you're paying for everything. Typically, they still leave you on the clock, but you getting paid the $8 to $9 an hour. But still, you're going to have to deliver that for free, and it's kind of terrible. So Limited to a certain amount of hours, sometimes depending on what pizza place you work at. Maybe not so much now because they need help and stuff like that. But a lot of times you can't work all the hours. They only have a certain amount of hours that they can give you. Now you can hustle and ask someone if you could close for them or something like that. I've done it. This happened to me like back in 2011 when I moved to this area. Not 2011, 2009. And man, I hustled. I did everything that I could do to get as many hours as I can. He was a stickler of the floor being mopped and stuff like that. So I made sure the floor was mopped nice. And he finally gave me some closing shifts. This is when the economy was really bad and stuff like that. Cool manager, and so he was pretty cool. But yeah, so he says, well, he does the floors, so I can give him some hours. Uber Eats and DoorDash drivers take your runs. Now, this is true for Papa John's and Pizza Hut. This was not true when I was delivering pizza, folks, but this is something that's new. So let me just give you an example. You're delivering for Papa John's, and there's 2 drivers during the lunch shift. You have 6 orders. Let's say 2, like the top 2 are 20 minutes old and 18 minutes old, and you have 2 other ones that are 16 minutes old and 13 minutes old, and then you have 2 other ones that are like 8 minutes and 5 minutes old, okay? And so let's say the top 2 go together and then the next 2 go together. So the drivers are out on doubles. What the manager will do is then he'll send the other 2 orders to DoorDash or Uber Eats. And so what happens is that assuming a delivery is accepted and there's no other runs that come in, let's say it's a lunch shift, let's say it's like 1 o'clock and the drivers leave and then they come back after a double. Let's say they come back at 1:30. And then the DoorDash driver and Uber Eats drivers, they come in at, let's say, 1:15 or 1:20 to take the rest of the deliveries. And after that, there's no more deliveries. So when the drivers come back, there are no more deliveries. So then they have to do more grunt work. They have to do the dishes. They have to do this, so fold boxes. There's no deliveries. This is how they make their money. Okay, they make their money on deliveries. So when Uber Eats and DoorDash takes their deliveries, you pretty much taking money out of their pockets. Now, it's good for the customer because typically the pizzas would get there faster, but it's not good for the driver. You have to clean or do something before you leave. As I said, we talked about this, grunt work. I call it grunt work. I don't like it. I absolutely hate it. You have to deal with coworkers and managers. Sometimes they're cool. But, when you're a driver, you have to deal with other drivers and you're competing with other drivers. Your goal is to beat them back to the store and take more deliveries. And you have to hustle, okay? Because there's no guarantee that you're going to get a lot of deliveries. There's no guarantee, So if you're taking a double and the other driver takes a double, your goal is to beat that driver back so you're first in line on that next delivery. So it's survival of the fittest, man. It's survival of the fittest when you're delivering pizzas, and you got to deal with that. More stiffs due to no contact. The stiff is a non-tip, obviously. So a lot of people now, and I didn't have to deal with this when I delivered pizzas, and I didn't have to deal with DoorDash taking my orders, but with the no contact stuff, they're more likely not to tip, folks, because they don't see you. They don't see the driver. They don't feel like they're forced to tip. They want you to leave it at their door with no tip. It's a credit card, no tip, leave it at the door. And so what a lot of times the Pizza Hut, possibly Papa John's tries to do is they try to assign those to Uber Eats and DoorDash where we know that they're not going to tip and we don't take the deliveries. And so I have a friend that works at Pizza Hut. He tried to do it, but it did not work. So So just keep that in mind. I've taken many Papa John's orders, got really good tips. Pizza Hut, I mean, I took a double going 2 miles to Pizza Hut. It was from DoorDash. It showed $8. The first one was a legitimate $2, so that was a stiff. But the second one was on the credit card, and they tipped me like $18. Okay, so it was a total of $22 for the entire order, and that was going for 2 miles. Yes, right. So Pizza Hut definitely hooked me up that time. I'll take a stiff if you're going to give me an $18 tip. But yeah, more stiffs due to no contact. Now let's talk about Uber Eats and DoorDash. Okay, the pros and cons for Uber Eats and DoorDash. Number one, you can accept or decline any run. It's self-explanatory, okay? If you don't want to take it, you can decline it. You can work whenever you want with Uber Eats. With DoorDash, all you got to do is schedule in advance. It's very easy. If you change your mind, you don't want to work, don't work. I mean, with DoorDash, I schedule every single day. I know I'm not going to work every single day, but I schedule every single day. And if I don't want to work, I'm nice enough. I do delete the schedule. No grunt work. You don't have to deal with doing dishes. This is really huge for me. I hate leaving and being all dirty and having to do all that grunt work and be sweating and doing the dishes and all that. I hate that stuff. And you got to deal with food and rotten stuff. I'm so glad I don't have to deal with that. Ride-alongs, I can bring my kids with Uber Eats and DoorDash. I can take my wife, friends, whatever. That's awesome. You don't have to deal with managers or coworkers. You know, sometimes you want to talk to coworkers, and if you're friends with them, that's one thing. But for the most part, I like not having to deal with managers or coworkers. And I can take a break whenever I want. And you know what, man? Pizza Hut and Papa John's, yeah, you could take a break too, kind of, but sometimes you can't. But with Uber Eats and DoorDash, if I want to take a break, I can. I don't have to deal with anyone telling me anything. I can be my own boss. Obviously, you're your own boss. And you can accept pizza delivery. So if you like delivering pizzas, you can accept them with DoorDash and Uber Eats. So those are the pros and cons of DoorDash and Uber Eats. Pros, and let's talk about the cons real quick compared to pizza delivery. Longer drives and more wear and tear. You're in your car most of the time. Now, sometimes you're in the restaurant waiting, or you're in your car waiting for an order. I would tell you this with me, I'm hardly ever in the parking lot. I have a designated parking lot that I go to wait for deliveries. I'm there on average probably about, in an 8-hour shift, I'm there for maybe 15 minutes. That's it. So, on average. Sometimes I'm not there at all. So, longer drives, more wear and tear. You're in your car more. You have more pickup points, so you got to know where your restaurants are. With pizza delivery, you just have one. Many different app glitches. I absolutely hate the app glitches. That is something that I absolutely hated. Everything that's really, really important to me, I do highlight that. So I am going to highlight that. I don't like app glitches at all. You don't get a paycheck. What I mean by that, you don't get an hourly pay. I know if you're in California, you might get something, but where I live, there's no hourly pay, but you still get a paycheck. Your customers tip you and you get, per delivery, per diem, but you don't get an hourly paycheck. Long wait at the restaurant. Sometimes there's long wait at the restaurants, but that's just the same with pizza delivery. You may have a long wait as well. Low cash tips. You don't get as many cash tips as you do with pizza delivery. I absolutely like cash tips for obvious reasons. And so less cash tips. I don't know why I put less, but less cash tips is probably better than low cash tips. I'll just mark that out. Runs tend to be longer. Yes, they are longer because if you're driving farther, they do tend to be longer. It's easier to get fired. Now, I don't deactivate it, so I don't know 100% for sure how easy it is to get deactivated, but from what I hear, you can get deactivated at any time. At least with pizza delivery, if something happens that's wrong, talk it out with the manager and stuff like that. And you'll typically be okay. So I think it's probably easier to get fired or deactivated from an app compared to, let's say, you know your coworkers, you know your manager. You're not going to get fired at the pizza place. That's how I feel. More unsafe, you have to be careful. What I mean by that, I'm not talking about getting robbed. I'm talking about when you're driving, and let's say you did a double, or you did a dirty double or a triple or whatever, and you're going back to your zone. And here you are trying to get deliveries before you park. That's what I try to do. I try to get deliveries before I park. Well, you're driving, looking at your phone. You're driving, you're looking at your phone. See if which you accept. With Pizza Hut or Papa John's, you don't do that. You just go straight to the store. So you have to be more careful when you're driving on the apps, because you can multitask more. You're looking at your phone more, this and that, yada, yada, yada. You have to be careful. Okay, so be more careful with that. If you get a ping, look at it real quick, either accept it or decline it. I can tell you this, with me, it's like, okay, I get something from DoorDash, I'm leaving Uber on. Because if there's something that goes together, you can take a double. So that's pretty much it. So the winner is clear to me, is clear, cut, and dry. Okay? The winner is UberEats and DoorDash. And I know I haven't really talked about pay much and how much you get paid. It really just depends on you. It depends on how you work the system. If you accept every single order, you might as well deliver pizzas. You're going to make more money delivering pizzas. But if you know what you're doing and you're multi-apping and you take orders that make sense, then DoorDash and Uber Eats wins hands down. You don't have to do the grunt work. You can, choose your own schedule. If you want ride-alongs, you can do that. All that stuff's important to me. So as long as you know what you're doing, if you're not accepting every single order, and you're making $25 an hour, with pizza delivery, you could make $25 an hour, but probably not. You're probably going to make closer to 20. And that's because if you take, you could make 25 if they pay you per mile. Then you could make 25. It just depends on how busy it is. Every pizza place is different. But I feel that I make more money doing Uber Eats and DoorDash. And the work is much better. It's much more enjoyable. Like and subscribe to my channel. Any comments would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.